There we go. Good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. If you will take a moment to read this important legal notice, basically it says past performance is not indicative of future results, and you can lose your ass day trading, particularly futures. Please have a plan, have a risk management plan in place, and consult your registered investment advisor before ever day trading. It is a very aggressive way to make easy money, so easy that most people lose money doing it. So there you go. Okay, so first of all, a couple of things. Ed was very kind to provide some numbers for us. I'm going to show you. So this is on both the conservative and aggressive. And I've had these confirmed by Dr. Jeff as well, who did them separately. But here's the numbers for the Trader Assist. So this is the non-aggressive 24 tick, right? And over the course of December, from December 2nd to December 31st, it made a net of $25,880. Okay, the shorts dominated with $19,815 in profits, and the longs suffered with $6,000 in profits. The aggressive version coming in a little bit lower, still good, 19,765. Again, the shorts dominated with 18,530 in P&L. The longs only made $1,235. Okay, so that being said, right, that brings up a very interesting question, which is why are these shorts underperforming, right? That just makes no sense. At least it makes no sense to most of us. Give it a sec, log in. So I went back and had a look, right? So if you'll notice, if we go to yesterday, where we got stopped. So the first natural response is, well, hey, we need an apex trap on that because we obviously had the long signal here, right? See how we got the long signal here? That stopped, like we were long right at the low. It stopped and it trapped back in. So we're working on that solution. The apex trap does not work on the short side. That evidence is abundantly clear. It just does not work on the short side. Okay? But on the long side, it might. So that's solution option number one, right? If you get the signal and it stops out, you take the trap back in. And so then the question is it bar one or bar two? Because a little bit earlier in the morning, you could have had the same set of signals, and if you went on bar one, it really required bar two to get the trap, but bar two held. So some research and information gathering have to go on there, right? And then the question is, can it be bar two with a single bar stop? So then when we come back over and look, so we have to look for examples, and then and nothing will tell us until we run the data, right? But if you look, you go on bar two, and on the trap, both bar twos held on the trap. It's very little evidence, right? It's 1 day effectively of evidence. And again, you'll see over here where you get, but this was different, right? You got the signal to flip long, and then you get the trap, and if you go on bar two, you got stopped on bar two, and then here's the trap again, but it doesn't get the fourth channel, and I don't think we have another example. Let me see if we got one more. And then we did not get one more. So that's one possible solution to improving the long side of a very good formula, right? And then, but when you go take a closer look, what you'll actually see when you look at the turn, right? So we already know those orange squares are really important, but something very interesting happens there, and it's this. Both short and long, so we're probably going to have to create a trade just for this, right? So you get the long signal, orange square, yellow dot, but if you'll look up to the left, the first plus sign in the direction of tends to break it out. So watch. Here's your short, there's your first plus sign, and it holds on one bar, flush, right? Just stay with me. It doesn't even have to be at the low. See how you get your exhaustion orange square up, plus sign down, And so sure, I understand that it reversed back up, right? But from your entry, it still gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. That's good P&L. If you don't want it, I'll take it all day long, right? If you look from over here where you get here's the orange square, is right here, plus sign stops you, right? And then you needed the apex trap, lift bar, got you paid, okay? So this is before the open, and then I'm going to go back to other days to demonstrate the same concept. So here, if you look, orange square up, plus sign down. Orange square down, plus sign up. Now the question is, how tight a stop can we run on that? It's a single bar, and since it's the second or third bar, the stop is smaller on that 24 tick. And then the other question is, does it carry over to the 15 or not? Okay, so some work to do, right? Some work to do, but we'll get it. Again, orange square, plus sign releases. This one doesn't go as far because it came back and retested. We're not going to have all of them obviously perfect. And you obviously want it to happen in a way that it makes sense, right? So orange square up, plus sign down. Beautiful release, right? When it happens in those first 2 or 3 bars in this combo like this, just beautiful, beautiful releases both ways, really, right? So here's the challenge. You get the orange square, beautiful long, and the plus sign doesn't show up till all the way over here. Now you'll notice that bar held, but that bar is an 18-point stop. It was a really big wick. So the good news is it's profitable as is, right? If I do nothing, I have, Jeff gave me data back for 90 days. Ed gave me data back for a month. Plus we have January where we know it's profitable. Yesterday, I think if you traded and exited in the morning, you'd have been up $2,200 or $2,500. If you exited and held the whole day, you still got out plus $1,500. It was very, very good. Okay, so I will be looking for these combos, and then obviously the natural thing is to program it so that we don't have to worry about execution and we can work on analysis. And then the other part is out of fair pricing. The other thing I want to show you, and really, we've all seen it, but Ed's really been harping on it. Okay, see when you get the plus sign, the orange square up on top, and it comes back for a backside test like this. So if you'll focus, so we know this causes rejection because we know all the buyers are trapped there, right? It's the first thing we know. So, and again, we have the buyers defending over here. So if you'll notice when we come into these bars, you don't want to buy into that because they can flush through, right? You don't want to buy into it because they can flush through. But if you can go long on that reversal bar with a 10-point stop, right? If you can go long with a 10-point stop, you more than get paid. The RR's there. And then if you'll look on the backside test of this is why you don't just short into it, because this is about a 35 point rip, right? So you get stopped on the first reversal bar, but the second reversal bar, again, it has to close within the plane of the top and bottom of the bar. That's your short entry, again, with a 10-point stop. And you can see you get your rip. The reason why you don't want to buy into the back test is, let's say you were bullish here, right? You buy into the back test, well, it just swept straight through and handed you a loss, right? So you want to be pretty selective with how you're handling that. If you look later in the, let's see if I can find it. You really want it during US hours, so let's see if we can go find it. Okay, like this guy here, right? So it comes down, backside test them, first bar fails, so this is a minus 10, right? But this is like a plus 50 or 60 point sweep to the downside, right? And again, when you have this here like this, you don't want to take more than 2 shots. Who wants to donate more than 20 points, right? But this is shot 1, and this is shot 2. Again, this cost you 10, this sweeps. And really, the real question in my mind is it even 10, right? Because shouldn't it be, if you notice, it should be down bar, and then your next up bar should finish you. If I was going to program it, it would be, which I will, it'd be entry, right? And then 10-point stop and or the first reversal bar. So like here it would be entry and 10-point stop, which would be the equivalent of the reversal bar there. And then here it'd be entry, 10-point stop, exit on the first reversal bar, and it's very, very profitable when you do it that way. Okay, so what you're noticing, again, when you tie in the higher time frames on the 40 and 60 tick, excuse me. So this is the 60 tick from, let me make sure that I have the right data, 60 tick from yesterday, right? So you see blue square at the low in the direction up. It's too big a bar to trade by itself, right? So you should zone it out. You should zone it out so that you go, hey, this area, right? If you just look at the concepts behind that 60, so it'll require studying, right? But if you just zone it out, hey, here's my zone, right? What happens when we retest into that area? I should be looking on my smaller time frame for rejections. Here's my zone, right? I should be looking for rejects. Here's my zone. I should be looking for rejects within that area. And then conversely, when it gets above, right, see this? You go, oh, I should be looking for rejects. But see, once it closes above, the plus signs out of there are lifting. And again, the key with these plus signs, so this is what makes the manual execution so hard, is the 10-point stop. But NQ moves so fast. That's where the trader assist is really, really, really helping out, right? So like when I would zone this out on the way back over here, right? So I would expect that when we hit this, see, you can see they did it here. They used this bar, but this bar is the stronger bar. So this morning when I come into this area, this 2930 to 2887, which you'll notice that's a 50-point area, right? I'm going to look for my setups on a smaller time frame, right? When I come up here this morning, right, I'm going to zone that out. I would expect there to be a defense in that area, right? And then it applies the same way in the 40. Now, I don't have a uniform way of explaining that chart to you, right? I don't have a uniform way. So it's going to require seat time sitting and watching. Give me just 1 second. I need to just make sure my trader duplicates are on. Hold on 1 second. Let's see, disconnect, connect. I'm just running NQ24, orange square entry, turn bar only. Hold on 1 second. Photo allocation, trade accounts. Okay. Don't have anything beyond that. Okay, so the other thing, housekeeping item really quick. If you were trading micros, so this happened to one member in the room, and they thought they blew up their account, okay? So first of all, let me reiterate very, very clearly. If you're using the Trader Assist, it is your responsibility, right? If I send you a new chart book, run it in Sim to make sure all the settings are the way you like them, that the P&L is looking like what you would expect based on the trade execution, right? That the stops are what you would expect. Sean, are you in the room this morning, my friend? Yeah? I think you are. I don't know if you're here. Sean, if you're in, let me know. Hold on. No, I should probably be on the general tab so I can see. Okay, well, he'll ping me when he's in. There's a way to keep on the micros. There's ghost orders that are showing up and sticking. okay, on the trader assist, but there's a way to stop that. I'm going to have Sean walk me through that sometime this morning. It's a setting, and the problem is it'll interfere with a dome. If you have the dome on the same account and you're manually trading, it'll exit all the trades for you. It'll assume the brackets apply to the dome and it'll interfere. But if you, hypothetically, if you walk away, this was not designed to be a I'm not going to look process, but if you walk away and leave the execution on, right? If you walk away and leave the execution on, it won't leave those ghost orders on micros. And I'll have Sean kind of show me how that works later this morning so I get it exactly right. I don't mislead anyone. Secondly, if you're on micros, let's pretend this is your trade chart. You go File, you go Chart, Chart Settings, very, very important. Go to Symbol, okay? First of all, if you're trading micros, this setting uses trades only symbol, should be yes, and on this second line, it should say MNQ, okay? MNQ. Pardon me, I apologize. I'm going to take a sip. Next housekeeping item. This currency value per tick, if you go to micros, this is where the problem was. If you leave it in micros and you leave that at 5, your P&L is going to show as if you were trading minis. You'll still execute in micros, assuming you did everything correct above, but you will get priced at minis, okay? And it will send you through a stress loop, right? So that's how you fix that. Let me send Sean a message real quick. Sean. Let me know when you're in. Okay. Next piece of housekeeping. Okay. Normal. This applies. So someone said something about in the room about, hey, I'm just going to watch, and when I see you've settled on, you're not making any more adjustments to the trader assist, then I'll look at getting the trader assist. Totally fine, right? I don't have a problem with that. But let me be clear. That day's probably never coming. It's probably going to be a constant tuning of it because the market isn't a set and forget kind of instrument, right? I'm going to say that again. It's not a set and forget kind of instrument, right? It requires attention to detail, fine tuning. And the reason why it doesn't look like there's dramatic changes and there's little updates is because these little updates, like for example, it'll take us a little bit, but we'll probably get, when we get this, we'll go, oh, well, even if we enter here, if this gets stopped, re-enter on the plus sign type of trade. So to improve the numbers on the bottom line, right? But anyone who doesn't want an updated version, like Tasia has every version out there, he's welcome to run whatever he wants, right? But this will be a continuous update process. I seriously doubt there'll be a point at which there's no tinkering that needs to be done or no changes that need to be done on this product, because that's why black boxes fail. Anyone who's traded black boxes before, they fail because markets change. We'll have to change stops, targets, entry bars, or there'll be continued evolution, right? This is pretty good. It shouldn't change every week, but there won't be a point where we go, hey, we're just not changing. And I know that's overwhelming on your end. And so two things have been going. We've had advances at an incredible pace, right? Because we see things like this, like, oh, we get the numbers. We go, oh, ES is underperforming on this chart book to the upside. Why, right? And then we go look at it and we go, okay, well, is it the stop too tight? Does it need an apex trap? Is it on the first bar or second bar? Does it need the plus sign, right? And we go through all those. And when you go through the back test, right, and it's underperforming, well, the answers become utterly clear very, very quickly, because what we've removed, like when I coach somebody, right? So let's say I'm coaching Tasia, and I go, Tasia, hey, did you go long the blue square here, right? Well, if Tasia's manually executing, what Tasia might say is, well, I went along the blue square here, I went along the blue square here, and I went along the, by the time I got over here, I was so tired of getting stopped, I didn't go along the blue square over here, right, at 801, which could be a thing, right? That could be a real thing. But It also could be that Tasia could go, well, when I got stopped here and I got stopped here, and then I decided it was going lower, so I shorted the 200, and then I got stopped, I took a scale, but then I got stopped, then I decided it was going short here, then I went on tilt and I took the white bar stuff and the plus sign stuff, and I blew up my account, right? Tasia doesn't blow up his accounts anymore. But that's what happens, and then you had to start sorting out within the process. Then you have to start sorting out, well, are you taking the trade on process or are you trading on tilt? First thing you have to figure out, right? Secondly, are you executing properly? Like, for example, let's say you went here. Well, I lost $7,000 that day. Tasia, I'm picking on you. I'm pretty sure you can handle it, right? Well, what happened? Well, I put my entry here, but I didn't get my stop in quick enough, and this fell like in a second, 25 points, and I blew up, right? Or I had a huge drawdown. So really, this trade is a 15-point trade that Tasia might turn into a 45-point stop, right? And, okay, it turned into a 45-point stop, but that had nothing to do with the process. That had to do with Tasia couldn't move his fingers through the dome quick enough to manage the trade, right? And then his shorts over here were because he was frustrated and goes off process. And it's happened to everyone in this room. There's not a person in this room who's not traded off process, yours truly included. Not one. Okay, Sean, please tell me on the settings. Here, let me drag this over. Here, you will see what Simon does when he trades on his own. So tell me on the settings where I go to prevent the ghost orders if I'm not manually trading. Let's say I had to walk away from my machine, which is not suggested, but let's say I did. And I want to make sure there's no ghost orders. Can you open your mic and step me through it so everyone can get this? If you're still here, we have like 3 minutes. Maybe we should do it later. Okay, he's not saying anything. So, one other piece that I forgot that's important. One other piece I forgot that's important for people who are. Oh, you can hear him. I can't hear him. Here, I'll fix this. Sean, go ahead. Sorry about that. My mic should be on. My sound should be on. Is he speaking?
I know it's fine.
Oh,
You hear
there
me
we
now?
go. Okay, so I go to Analysis, Studies. I'm going to go Modular
The
Auto
bottom
Trader.
one, yeah, but modular auto trader.
Okay, bottom one, Modular Auto Trader, Settings.
And at the bottom where it says perform order checking, it's IN91.
Okay,
You put that to, let's see, it's mode 2.
go to Mode 2, and then tell me what happens when I put it in Mode 2.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, go ahead. What do I do when I put it in Mode 2? What's happening now? What's going to happen?
So it performs an order check. So the problem is, if you're trading manually, it somehow screws up your bracket orders. So if you exit, it'll make all your contracts exit at your first bracket order target instead of letting it go all the way. So you don't want it on unless you're letting an auto trader do all your targets and entries and exits. If you're manually trading, you can't really have it on yet. I'm still testing it out.
Okay, but if you leave, that's what you want on to make sure you don't have any ghost orders, hypothetically at least, floating around, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and the problem's been predominantly on micros, not minis, but either way, if you're going to leave, go put it to setting number 2, and that's what you would do to prevent that yuckiness from occurring. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'll write that out in a procedure, send it out to everybody. But that's what I would suggest you do if you choose to trade in that fashion. Because, man, that would suck to walk away, have an open order. It can blow up your account really easily, and that's why it's trader assisted, not trader bot. So thank you, Sean. Okay, so the other thing is this morning, 9 o'clock, U.S. Secretary of State Bilkin speaks. Who knows what he's going to say? Maybe we can find a new war to start before Trump takes over. And Williams speaks at 2:05 p.m. and Schmidt speaks at 9 a.m. Fed speakers, and there's 9 a.m. no econ again today. So just I would expect wide-ranging balance, right? Wide-ranging balance. And I'm just going to do the same thing I did yesterday, which is let that dog hunt and do what it's got to do. I'm running the conservative version of the 24 tick orange square with 200 on short filter, not the aggressive version. Okay? I'm trying to think if there's any other. Oh, I know what the other housekeeping was. So, like, see this where I pointed out this morning? I go, if this comes back up, test this bar and gives me a bar down. I'm taking the first reversal bar with a 10-point stop. That's a perfect example. Oh, wait, that was on the 24. Sorry. It looks like this. This is on the 60, but it looks the exact same way, right? It looks the exact same way. It comes back for a test. You will notice this morning that on the higher time frame charts, we're above. We are above. We're opening inside from overnight. We're opening up inside fair pricing, so above and below. And then obviously below we have yesterday's test of yesterday's high and pricing and fair unfair pricing all the way down to $2,900, right? So really starting here from the overnight at 21,008 all the way down to 2,900. Of course, you can go dial in on your own charts to get the exact number. I'm trying to think what else. If you'll notice when you were trading in unfair pricing, that's where we got the turn yesterday, right? And again, sentiment was pretty bearish yesterday from what I saw. Sentiment was pretty bearish. And you saw how people got smoked, right? So coming into the weekend, I saw a lot of bearishness. Even Spot Gamma, if you read their email they send out, were like, sellers are in overall control. And what do you end up with from the low to the high? 2,700 to 21,120. Bear markets are a lot. Even if this was a bear market and not just a pullback market, down markets are harder to trade. Okay, and that being said, the Algo navigated pretty expertly. The swings are probably a concern for some people in terms of the equity. I ran this yesterday on the non-aggressive, 2 contracts with a 10 and 30 scale. And what the reason I went through to test that, and I would suggest you test that, is on the micros. A good example, Bill ran yesterday 10 micros, right? He ended up, his peak P&L was $700. His end of day P&L was $150, but his commissions were $90 on the micros. Now, that being said, had he gone through and done a 10 and 30 on those 10 micros, right? A 10 and 30 on those 10 micros, he would have ended up with $250 and $90 in commissions, right? So, but I think you have to get it, especially if you're in Apex, if you're trading Apex, either you have to build your account up high enough where you can trade 2 contracts, because those micros are just, man, they suck on the commissions. There's nothing else to say about it. Like, it's unconscionable what they charge, retail small guys so much money in transaction fees is pretty awful, right? Secondly, your job is to pull money out of Apex, right? This jackass, one of the co-founders of Apex, was caught on video, and I'm happy to share the video, basically plotting how he could disqualify his profitable traders. Okay, these guys are not nice guys. Okay, they're just not nice guys, and I want you to be aware of that, because really shitty the way they're treating people. Right? Really, really shitty the way they're treating people. You get rid of guys who are consistent. That 30% rule really sucks. Like, on the one hand, they talk about, well, we want to groom you and help you be successful and all this. But the reality is there's no one who would go in the world, right? If I made $1,000 yesterday and then I get up $3,000 today, there's no one who would go, oh, I need to get my P&L back in line, right? I don't want to make 3,000 today on the same process, right? Yet that's exactly what they ask you to do. Top Step doesn't ask you to do it. It's a ridiculous ask. It's a ridiculous ask. So my suggestion would simply be don't, you know, yeah, don't let them do that to you, would be my suggestion. So at any rate, that's my 2 cents about that. And yeah, I thought that was really really horrible. Actually, is what I thought. So I don't have anything else to say beyond that. I was pretty offended when I saw that, and he was literally trying to figure out how he could get rid of his. He was trying to figure out how he could get rid of his profitable traders. Like there's no other way to say it or put it. Right? That's precisely what he was trying to do, and so I just don't have any respect for that, and we'll just, you know, go from there. And they are driving hard all the way through the fair pricing, which is fine. And we are up 31 on ES and 147 on NQ. And again, here we are into that zone where we rejected earlier. We'll see if they can go for Globex high or what they're going to do. But obviously the put buying got a little happy, right? Because you can see those guys are just, yeah. They just got a little bit happy. So they're over. They're going to have to unwind those positions. Any questions, guys? Did that help this morning? Because if that helped, I'm done. Okay, I got the video made. I'm going to kill